Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kind of hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate Ending. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski and our very own critic in residence Tim Brayton. With Solo, a Star Wars story, hamming its way into theaters this weekend.
Redo.
What do you mean redo?
We did that episode last week.
What do you mean?
We did Solo last week with the...
No, this is Solo.
No, this is it.
What was last week's episode?
What was last week's episode? Geriatric movies.
Geriatric
Book club.
movies.
It was book club.
It's book club.
Hamming its way into
Hamming. Bad actors. I
thought for sure you were going to go with blasting its way into theaters.
No, because the whole topic that we're doing, we're looking at our top 5 movies ruined by bad acting.
But bad acting isn't always hammy acting.
It's not, but I was trying to come up with an adjective or an adverb. What's adverb? Is that the correct?
Hamming, it's a verb, just a straight up verb.
Just a verb. I was looking for the right verb to throw in there.
All right.
So, is there a better word for bad acting?
Hacking.
Ooh, hacking. It's right,
but it's good.
It kind of sounds slashery though too.
It sounds a little bit more like when a cat's got like something in its throat it's trying to get up.
The fact that we've had trouble jumpstarting this podcast is
no, this is good.
It's good.
This is content. This is good.
We're still going from
we're
here.
Still going.
We're not going to
re-record. No, we're not re-recording.
We didn't let our young daughter stop us. Our 3-year-old, stop us from recording.
She was down here just a few minutes
ago. She tried to break into the studio just as we were about to record.
Yeah.
Which I think would have been adorable. I think you would have all gotten a real big treat out of that. But the parents are like, no, go back up to your room, you horrible little brat. And then
what was her deal?
I heard I don't even want to describe it. I think we might get the law in here if I said it. But
no. She is very sweet and cute, but she would never leave. She was at the top of the stairs and I went up there and she has been in bed for an hour and a half. So she comes down and she's like, Mommy, I didn't get a quacker with dinner. So
she saw the crackers.
I saw some quackers on the counter and I thought maybe I could get a quacker and maybe have one for Abby too, her older sister. It's like, oh, how'd you know about the quackers, Alice? She's like, oh, I just think I just knew, was her response. I just knew there were quackers down here. She's like, oh, I know I already brushed my teeth. My tweeth. I don't know. She doesn't say tweeth. She has
I hope not. If she says quackos, it's cute. If she says tweeth,
no, it's the R is gone. The R isn't there. So I handed her some quackers. Her what?
She doesn't have a molaus anymore.
No, she doesn't.
Coming with a word that's got R in it that's teeth.
So it's not just our youngest daughter that you've let down this past week.
What are you going to talk about?
No, this is good parenting. This is not letting anyone down.
Well, she also earlier this week let down our oldest daughter by not letting her play outside.
What is it?
To the point where she had to write Carrie like a heartfelt note explaining. Like, do you have it?
No, I don't have it. Do you?
I framed it. I framed the note. It's very important to me.
Oh, so you're just going to hand it to me?
Is it hanging in your cubicle?
Yes, it should be.
Oh, gosh, I forgot. I already blocked this memory out. Good. This wasn't a positive. This was not ideal for me. So you're going to make me read this?
Yeah, tell the story.
Oh, geez.
Set it up first.
Let me set it up as the quality parent that I am. So I set ground rules. Somebody has to around here.
Oh, clearly.
And so, yeah, Rob's just all party.
If it were just Rob, the kids would already be into like meth or lewds or who knows.
For sure. They would have been taken down by a car years ago. So our oldest daughter, just as we said last week, started riding her bike. So she says, can I go outside and ride my bike? Well, I couldn't be outside at the moment. So I said, sure, but stay in the driveway. We have a driveway. Stay in the driveway. So guess what happens?
She got hit by a car.
She did not, but she very well
thank
could
God.
have.
I was really concerned.
I don't know why you're laughing either. Rob's gone. Somebody has to have rules. And so, yeah, I look out the window. 2 seconds after I've said this rule, she's flying down our road, like along the side, just lollygagging, looking up, around, looking everywhere. There's cars flying probably somewhere. And so, yeah, I said, I had to do the stern face. I'm the only one, again, that has one of those around here. I do the stern thing.
Can I see your stern face?
It's kind of like this. It's like,
Oh, that's no wonder she didn't bother.
It's a high eyebrow, And it's a tilt of the head.
I think the stern face needs to go on social media. I think everyone needs to see that.
Were you startled?
You need to Instagram it.
I don't know that I want to be seen. But, so she's immediately crying. I was like, off the bike, walk it back in the house. I had to do that. Mm-hmm. That whole scenario played out.
I got chills.
Did you? Hair stood up?
Yeah, they're standing up.
So she's just sobbing.
It's amazing to me she's not on the bike on the road this instant, given how not chilling it was.
I know. And so she comes back in the house. She's already crying. She doesn't like any sort of tone. She doesn't like tones. I don't know what we're raising around here, but it's not good. But anyway, so she comes back in and she just immediately takes herself to her room. And I was like, well, okay, I guess you know where you need to go because you didn't listen.
And Carrie's way of resolving conflict is she wants to talk about it.
Carrie,
Carrie's thing is always, well, do you want to talk about it?
Like,
that's like on
That's
repeat.
what I said.
Yeah.
So I said, you can go up to your
So
room.
when you say that to me, does that mean that you're mad at me?
Did I give you the eye?
I just assumed we were having nice. Well, I mean, that eye looked like you had gas, so I can't even tell.
The side eye. So anyway, yes, Rob's handed me the note here. I went upstairs after she'd been up there for a while. I said, when you want to talk about it, you come down and we can just totally talk about it. She's like, I don't want to talk about it. And so she goes upstairs. So I was kind of like, well, it's kind of peaceful around here. Maybe I'll, watch a little tube, something like that. But anyway, I walk upstairs a couple minutes later and what do I find? She has pushed a note under the door of her room, 6-year-old
All right.
here. And Rob finds this amusing, which is why you're sharing it. So it says, do I do the spelling issues?
No, just read it as she intended.
So as she intended, not talking about it. At the top.
Good headline.
Not
Solid.
just clear lead in, not talking about it.
She's going to make a good copy editor someday.
She goes, I am sad because what did she say? I am sad because when I was outside, you said I had to come in. And if you're daddy, I am not talking about you. I am talking about mama.
That is adorable.
It's not adorable.
Oh, so
really
the note was not meant for me, is what I'm gathering for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why would it? Why would
Because you're
her?
a bad parent
Right.
who allows your children to drink Drano and shit.
I gave my kid crackers just now, and she and I are
you let her
gonna
have the
You let her
crackers?
have crackers?
for sure. I just was like, take the whole box, take it upstairs.
No.
This is against your
I
principles
clearly
here.
need to
It is, but-
come in and like Mr. Belvedere the situation. You are both obviously.
You would be an amazing Mr. Belvedere. I would never give her the quackers normally, but because you're here and we're down
because we
here,
needed the podcast.
I was like, hopefully she can just eat these through the next hour. Is my goal.
whatever it
You
takes.
gave her the whole box of crackers.
I did.
Excellent. You're gonna have a fat child.
I know.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some movies. What in our worth mentioning segment? What is the worth mentioning segment of the movies we've seen since the last episode? Which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We share them either way. Care, since the last episode, how many movies?
I have seen 3.
Just 3? I thought you were going to
right?
squeeze one in while while Abby was crying tears.
Oh no,
you weren't
no.
able to squeeze in more than 3?
I just caught a
That's
show.
pretty good.
Yeah, so just the 3. I saw Wonder, The Glass Castle, which is a little bit older, and Deadpool 2.
A little bit older. I love your.
That is older than
it's like,
what?
It's like last year.
A little bit. It's not current. It's not like in theaters right now.
It is like
enough.
literally 2 months older than Wonder.
Whatevs. Okay, what did you see?
I'm working on that number right now. So what is your worth mentioning? Which of those films do you want to?
I was going to do, I think, The Glass Castle, maybe? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I haven't seen The Glass Castle. So
Oh, you haven't?
Tell me about it.
Oh, I
Okay.
wanted you to have seen it. That's why I wanted to go through it, because it's, I'm mixed on how I feel about it. So this one, if you haven't caught it, is written by Destin Daniel Creighton and directed by not George Lucas for sure, but he probably
I think
knows.
also directed by the same gentleman.
Oh, is
I'm
it?
not
Yeah,
mistaken.
likely.
'Cause I think he's the one who worked with Brie Larson on Short Term 12.
Okay, yeah. So, because she's in that too, like you mentioned. So it stars Brie Larson, who I really like. Woody Harrelson's in this, and so is Naomi Watts. And then there's a few children, but I don't know their names. So here's the struggle. I'm going to read you the IMDb of this movie, the way that they describe it, as well as something Rob read about it that described it similarly. And this is not the way that I perceive this movie at all. So that's why. So they describe it as a young girl is growing up in a dysfunctional family of nonconformist nomads with a mother who's eccentric and an artist and a father who's an alcoholic who basically stirs their 4 kids' emotions with imagination to distract them from poverty that they live in.
Oh, you thought that was chipper and upbeat. is what you were expecting.
Well, the way the IMDb makes it seem, and the actual setup, it makes it seem like it's going to be It's a Beautiful Life or something version.
Like it's
the trailer made it seem like, let me tell you about my emotionally abusive father.
Well, that's what it was.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. So I'll read you. So if I was writing the IMDb, this is how I would say it. It's a movie about an abusive, drunk dad who would rather drink than feed his kids who haven't eaten in 3 days.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Who was abusive on multiple fronts to his kids and wife. His parents pretend to be free spirits, but really they are moving from scam to scam and lying to their kids about plans for the future that they never will see through.
Alert?
No.
Okay, good.
I think it's okay.
I don't think so.
No, I think you're right.
There's a lot of things that happen in this movie. He's abusive through the entire movie. And so I guess
about the scams.
No, that's nothing. I actually kind of made that up. I don't know. The movie for me, here's the part, and this is something as a critic for you, I want your opinion on. So this movie infuriated me. Like while I was going through this thing, the whole thing infuriated me. However, I was so infuriated. Is it a good movie? Like
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I know, but like, how do you rate a movie when something makes you so mad and you're so upset?
Is it trying to make you mad?
Yeah.
Is making you mad then it's a good movie?
I think so. I don't know.
No, it's trying to make it okay that he...
had this upbringing
is it?
Oh, I think it is.
Interesting. That's a bad movie.
Maybe.
I think, and that's the problem I had is like I couldn't identify with it. Like I can't see.
If it makes you want to feel something and you feel it, I would say generally it's a good movie. If it makes you want to feel something and you feel contrary-wise, it's a bad movie.
It was trying to make excuses for him that it was okay that he was this way because he was very creative and well-spoken and did these some like cute things every once in a while, but basically was just lying to his kids. And like I just didn't buy it.
No.
That's why I gave it a pretty low rating.
Yeah, I didn't give it a great score either. I didn't love it. I thought it was going to play on him being a great guy. Great acting by everybody. But this is one where
the story lets me down. Like, and I think that's the only thing that was really wrong with it. Like the direction was fine.
Yeah.
The acting was really just the
writing. I would
probably
like it just fine.
I think you might. Well, I just don't. Yeah, it's based on a true story.
Right. It's someone's memoirs.
So
I believe the character played by.
That's hard too. Like I don't see anything good about this guy.
If they reflect back, obviously this happened a long time ago. If they reflect back on their dad and have some warm memories now, and good on them. But like he's an asshole to me. Like, I'm sorry. Like nothing redemptive about this gentleman.
And
played
would
by
I
Woody
recommend
Harrelson.
this? Maybe for free. So, and Tim, what did you see?
Well, I watched 12 movies this week. Only 8 of them were new to me, so I don't know which number we're officially counting.
12. It's still the 12.
We're counting 12.
Did you say 12?
12. School's done. School's done.
School's out for the summer.
School's out forever.
Forever.
But it's only for summer. But that's a song lyric. Anyway, so I saw a lot of movies, including one that I think you're going to be talking about in a little bit, Rob, so I'm going to save that one. A couple that got reviews, but one that hasn't been reviewed yet, will be reviewed very soon, but I thought it might be fun to talk about. I saw the inspiration for last week's episode. We talked about old people in movies. I saw Book Club.
Oh, nice.
Can't wait to hear about it.
You're seeing this tomorrow, Carrie.
I'm going to see it with my mom tomorrow. That's the goal.
The film where Mary Steenburgen, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Diane Keaton play characters who have been going to the same... They've had a book club every month for 20, 30-something years. And... this month, the book they're going to read is 50 Shades of Grey. And so
classic.
They read it. They get very, very aroused, except for Candice Bergen, who seems to kind of find it repulsive and awful, possibly because it is the worst written book.
Murphy Brown would. That's like
Murphy Brown would.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and so just how each of these women sort of re-examines her life. And the 50 Shades thing, and even the book club thing as a whole, it's kind of more of a pretext. Like it's much more about like 4 little individual romantic comedies, like one of those Gary Marshall films that was set on a holiday, only the holiday now is like Horny Old Lady Day, apparently. So yeah, it's just like little romantic comedy stories. Each one of them has been very carefully managed to have a different like demographic thing. One's a widow, one's a divorcee, one was never married, one is happily married, and each one of them like does what they do. So as that sort of indicates, it's kind of a chilly screenplay. Like it's very clearly been machined in a way that I didn't love. But the actresses are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. And this is where I'm going to launch my FYC Candice Bergen Best Supporting Actress 2018.
Are you serious?
So good in this movie. Oh my God. I loved all of them, but she was my MVP.
She's never somebody that stood out to me as some sort of main leading lady actress type person.
Well, that's why I said supporting.
Or even supporting. Like, I don't even remember her in anything.
She hasn't done too many.
Alabama?
Shut your mouth.
Is she not in there?
I don't know. Maybe she is. It's a bad movie. She's in Starting Over, the Alan J. Pakula film about divorcing people.
Okay.
She divorces Burt Reynolds, and then he marries.
That seems like the right choice.
Jill. What's her name?
Goodacre?
No, the Jill who was in like a million movies in the 70s and then never acted again.
You're asking the wrong person.
Anyway, so book club is, I liked it. You know,
sweet, funny?
It's sweet and funny.
Here's a question for you. So I'm seeing it with my mom tomorrow. Should I see it with my mom tomorrow?
You should see it not sitting next. Well, I don't know. Girls have a different relationship to their mom than boys do.
Is it sexual in nature?
It's about reading 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, but sometimes that could be like a minor plot point.
Aren't they late to the party? Like,
well, I think the idea is
like,
that these are like, you know, women in their mid to late 60s who are way behind the curve. It actually made sense to me that they would only just now be getting to the movies or the books. Also, it's very clearly established that this happens after the movies open.
Okay.
Which is great because Don Johnson is one of the men that these ladies decide to get it on with. Don Johnson's daughter was in 50 Shades of Grey. Not clarified whether the Don Johnson character thinks that the Dakota Johnson character is hot, but I wanted that scene to happen. I felt very, very brokenhearted that it didn't show up in the movies. I don't think he's seen those movies. I think that she told him not to and he complied.
Probably a good call.
No, I wouldn't see this movie with my mom.
Okay.
I would feel weirdly uncomfortable. Also, because there's like a whole running plot line where Diane Keaton's children are treating her like she's on death's door because she's 66 years old. And it's kind of what I'm doing with my mom right now. And I feel like there would be words in the parking lot afterward if that happened.
I've actually read this for book club before. This particular book.
You've read book club?
I feel like reading book club for a book club is sort of too meta for me to deal with.
Is it? Right now? I'm in a book club.
So you're in a book club?
I am.
Okay, I need to ask you about book clubs.
Okay.
Do you read books in them or do you just like drink wine and complain?
It's a little bit of all three, mostly the latter two.
Okay.
Usually what happens, I'll tell you how these things go. It's a little bit of a mystery. But it's one of those things where we all get together. There's a preset book. We have read this one before. And then we get together. There's lots of wine. There's a dessert. There's always a dessert. Was there a dessert in this movie?
I don't. There was a scene with ice cream, but the implication is that it's an aberration to have ice cream.
Oh, okay.
I think the difference so far is that they actually sounds like they talk about the book.
Well, that's the thing. They don't really.
Or they don't.
They mostly just drink wine and are like gal pals. And I'm like, if I'm in a book club, I'm in a book club because I want to talk about the book.
No, you don't do that. No, you get there, and what happens is someone's like, oh, okay. Everyone looks around the room, and they're like, so who read the book? And then like maybe a third of the room raises their hand, and they're like, yeah, I had a light week, or my husband was a little extra helpful this month, so yeah, I read the book. And they're like, oh, you're so good. And then everyone's like, don't tell me what happens. Don't tell me what happens. I don't want to know.
Why not just have like a wine tasting club?
You could do that, but it feels more like
trashy but wine's classy.
Wine's nice. It's like a blend of a lot of things going on. You want to feel like there's like a goal for it.
Sure.
Sort of.
Drinking wine is a perfectly satisfying goal.
I know. So it's morphed over the years. We've been doing it for like 10 years.
Right.
But then what ends up happening is we're like, okay, so 50 Shades of Grey. And they're like, oh, Christian, what did you think about Christian Grey? And they're like, oh, has your husband ever, done anything like with a noose? And you're like, oh, no. And then you're like, but you know what my husband has done? Nothing. Mine too.
So it sounds like the movie is very true to life.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted one character to attack the book's subliterate prose and have another defend it on the grounds that it's not about the prose, it's about the content. And they didn't seem interested in discussing the book as a text.
No,
that's
not what you're there for.
I was looking
you're
for
there to gab with your friends.
This is why I could not be in a book club.
I know, you would be
I'd
very
be the one
upset.
being like, I'm sorry, everyone.
Excuse
Paragraph
me.
7
Ben in a noose.
on page 108.
Ben in a noose over here.
I think we need to talk about this reference to the politics of 2008. Makes the book feel very dated to me.
Yeah,
and that doesn't happen. Is what you're telling me.
You were saying you talk about me at the book club?
I mean,
what do you do with news?
Yeah. Well,
because I imagine just really,
I have just placed
unbelievably sad autoerotic asphyxiation.
I have just placed an order for a cock ring and a sex swing on.
I don't know what any of those are.
We're gonna figure it out together.
All right. Next
Tim,
episode, we'll talk about that.
You thought? Oh no.
Oh,
I
right.
meant Tim.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, why would Carrie even need a cock ring? I mean,
I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna look it up, and I think it's something.
It's a strap you put around the base of your scrotum.
I actually didn't want to know. I was gonna look it up
to try and prevent the blood from leaving your penis. It's basically a way of like trying to prolong an erection.
Is it on the scrotum?
What's behind the scrotum?
I don't
even know what a
I'm learning
scrotum
that.
is. What?
It is the fleshy sac in which the balls reside.
So when I say these things, it's not like I'm looking for an explanation.
Well,
I just
you clearly need to have not done. Don't say
Oh,
that.
I won't
What's a
ask
good
these
segue?
questions.
What's a good segue
Let's
from
take
scrotum? I don't know.
So
There are only good scrotums.
Speaking of
There are
scrotums,
segues.
have you seen any movies, Rob?
No, because you did see a movie and
I did
scrotums
see-
feature in it.
There was a full featured
Oh
scrotum
my
in it.
gosh, there was.
Yeah, there was.
A baby
oh, yeah, the
scrotum.
little baby scrotum in there.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, dang it. I feel like we've just
That's
spoiled
not a
that.
spoiler. But
You don't
don't
think
go
so?
in.
I don't think it's a spoilable movie.
It was in
No,
the
it's
previews.
not. I don't think a baby scrotum was.
Well,
in
you
the
don't
previews.
see you don't see the
Deadpool
scrotum
2.
in the previews, but you know you're going to see the scrotum based on what the
That's
preview
true.
does.
That's true.
Tell us about Deadpool.
We're all talking about Deadpool 2, which is both my most anticipated, one of my most anticipated, number 3, I believe, and also I think number 4 for box office, maybe number 3.
I think we all had it at number 4.
4.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
everybody
it was the
had
only
it
one we
number 4 box
overlapped on
office.
perfectly.
And so far, not looking so strong for at least it's probably end up at number 4.
I think it's still going to end up at number 4, but I think we all overestimated the dollar amount it will have taken as it gets that far.
I saw estimates coming in at about 125 million.
Yeah, 125 million sets it on the path towards like 300 to 310 probably.
But overall, it's the sequel to the foul-mouthed mutant mercenary from the comics. Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, brings basically kind of forming his own X-Men,
His fake X-Men.
or the X-Force, which is a true
yeah.
comic book team, to protect a young kid from Cable from the future coming back to he's not
Russell.
happy with the kid. Yeah, Russell from his name is Russell.
Hunt for the Wilder People?
But yeah, it's the actor
Right?
from the. I really enjoy this. I was my fear of this particular movie was how much are they going to try to retread from the original? Like, will the same types of jokes be funny as they were in the original? And I come to you saying they were, and it was good, and it was amusing.
I mean, I loved it. I didn't love it. I liked it so much more than the first one, primarily because I thought the first one basically had 2 jokes. One was superhero movies are formulaic. The other is fuck. And this one had so many more jokes, and the jokes that it had were better. And even the jokes it brought from the first film, I thought were funnier.
And there were some touching moments. I
cried twice.
Did you really cry?
Yeah, I did. Opening sequence.
Opening was
and then
was
later
fairly sad.
sequence, I cried too.
I gotta say, my only problem with this movie. Oh, I should say, it stars Josh Brolin as Cable, who was great Cable.
Very good.
I've heard that he was not the first choice for Cable. I've heard a lot of.
You told me who it was. Who was
Brad Pitt was.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't want
Wouldn't
to.
that be so weird?
I don't want to talk too much about Brad Pitt.
I wasn't
going to
say anything about Brad Pitt.
Okay, nothing about Brad Pitt. Some other choices. Did you not see Brad Pitt?
Oh, I didn't see Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah,
You didn't see Brad
This
Pitt?
movie requires some.
Oh, was that Brad Pitt?
That was
I thought
Brad
it was Ryan
Pitt.
Reynolds.
No,
there
it was
are-
Brad
I thought he was
Pitt.
like doing a weird little cameo as himself.
No,
Okay, well,
there are
white
a
dudes
lot
with
of
crew cuts. All look
there
like
are
white
a
dudes
lot
with
of
crew cuts.
cameos. Go through afterwards. Go through the cast. We missed one, Care. We missed one of your favorites.
I don't think
Really?
I noticed a
Harrison
single
Ford was in there?
cameo.
Think younger.
John Krasinski.
We're at the same age, but yes, he was in there. Your favorite. Anyway.
Matt Damon.
Maybe. May have been in there.
Where?
I don't know. We got to
Where?
rewatch. We got to rewatch this movie.
I don't even remember. Okay, so tell us more.
So Cable was great. My big beef with this movie, like the thing that I only had it at 3.5. I think Tim, that's where you fell.
For me, 3.5 was way above my expectations. For you, I feel it was below.
It was below. And what brought it down the half was I did not like the kid.
Fuck
I did
you.
not like
Oh.
Russell.
He's great.
Yeah, he was great.
He's so good.
Something about him, and even in Hunt for the Wilder People,
he's a little
bit.
shitty asshole. That's like
No,
the,
he's
the
not.
guy.
It's just the hunt. It's literally the kid from Hunt for the Wilder People put into this.
That's
Yeah, that's
presumably
the
why they
goal.
cast him.
He's cute.
To me, the Deadpool movies are not about sincerity and storytelling. They're not about convincing you of character psychology. They're all about just like the sort of meta construct of like you've seen other movies, you've read comic books, and it's drawing on that. And I think that I might have just hit my microphone and banged it. Anyway, I think that like it's sort of assuming you've seen Hunt for the Wilder People, you remember this kid in it, and so you're responding to that.
Although I think very few people have seen that went to go see this.
I think that can't possibly be the case.
Really?
That was the highest grossing film ever made. Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, I was like, wait. Yeah, no, I thought this was super sweet. And so, as I mentioned last week, I fell asleep in the first one. But I remember the first 10 minutes of not really liking it, the first one. But this one, I was really surprised. I had heard it was going to be better, and
It's lots better.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny and catchy and different and unique than other Marvel movies, and it was fast paced. It's one giant action sequence. Through the
some
entire
great
thing.
action sequences.
Yeah.
David Leitch.
The guy who did Atomic Blonde, one half of the directing team of John Wick. Great John Wick gag in the opening credits. The opening credits, I thought, in general, were quite good.
And I thought all this self-referential,
parody.
all the referential stuff that they're in pop culture that they're doing hit the mark. And I thought that was going to be the part that fell off for me. Was maybe that was tired, but I laughed. You were laughing pretty hard in the movie theater.
I liked that it saved its most like obnoxious self-referential jokes for the post-credit sort of like goofing around bit.
Yeah,
I thought that worked.
Do you think that this being better had anything to do with the change in direction? So Tim Miller did the first one. Does this have any?
I think it
part
helped.
Of that?
It certainly helped with the action. I think it might be more just a case of like X-Men to X-Men 2, or some people would argue Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2. Like generally superhero sequels, because they don't have to set up the character, they can just. It's like you've built the sandbox. Now you can play in it.
Yeah.
And I think it might just be that.
Okay.
Like we get Deadpool, so now we don't need to figure out who Deadpool is.
Sure.
Also got to give it up for Domino's as he beats. Much as
so
I mentioned
good.
about her,
She was great.
She
Who
really
was that?
She was
stole
great.
every
Domino.
stole every scene. that she
Oh,
was
with
in.
the lucky woman? Yeah.
Also,
I really liked her.
Peter, Rob Delaney from Catastrophe. I don't know if you picked up that was the gentleman,
Rob
the
Delaney
guy with the
from
mustache that had no powers.
Oh, yeah. He
You're
was
in.
awesome.
You're in.
Yeah.
I just caught the
The
ad.
team was awesome that he
Yeah. The
lines
the
up.
X-Force team
Good
was
stuff.
pretty great.
Yeah,
So-
it was good. Worth seeing, would you say, in theaters?
I would.
Absolutely, because of the action.
Here's my hot take. This was my favorite superhero movie since Logan.
Very nice. Logan gets some reference in this particular.
It sure
movie.
does.
It's,
Oh, yeah,
very
you're
well-
right.
Very good.
It's funny.
And Tim, you'll be having a review of this, I'm sure.
I will be having a review of this up probably the same day this podcast goes live.
Nice. Well, remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. You can do it all from our Patreon site. Pick up you can make us watch a movie.
We will give you prizes if you give
There are
us money.
things that we will give you.
Although some of the prizes have already been taken, so you should go get them.
Yeah, there's
quickly.
no review left, but you can make Carrie and I watch a movie. There's 2 of those left. You can pick your own episode topic. In fact, picking up our Golden Globe reward, Flameboy picked up. He's going to be being able to control an entire episode
Nice.
at his fingertips.
Has he said what it is yet?
Nope. And we usually don't spoil that.
I know. I just was curious.
You always ask.
I know.
never tell.
It's always weird.
Also celebrating their anniversary, Patreon subscriber Caleb Wimble. Caleb, thank you
Nice.
for your continued patronage. We appreciate it.
And I just want to point out, even if you don't get one of the nice big prizes, you still get access to some fun little bonus content. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like we had a pretty good bit of riffing earlier this episode recording when we had to pause to deal with the Jarosinski child. You'll get access to some of that fun stuff. So it's worth the $1. You know?
How did you know the nickname that I call her?
I mean,
What did you call me?
just
The
guessed.
Jarosinski child. That's what I call
Oh,
Alice.
yeah.
Also, I want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. And this week, I actually have the Amazon purchases listed.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we have a few to catch up on. We have some thyme, essential oils. I didn't
Time
know-
like the spice?
Yeah, I didn't know that could be a essential.
Oh, yeah.
an
You need that
essential
all
oil.
over you. Yep.
Really?
It's anti-stress.
Yeah. What about some books? The Cult Film Reader.
Okay.
The classical Hollywood cinema's film style, mode of production to 1960. I'm
this you?
assuming that's
That is not me, but that was written by like the gods of my program back in the day.
very good.
Bordwell, Thompson, and Steiger.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, yeah.
Wow. Indie, an American film culture book purchase as well.
Someone's like a film student, possibly at UW-Madison.
Okay.
And if you are, thank you.
Also,
And I hope to see you in Vilas Hall this fall.
also Short Guide to Writing About Film, the 8th edition, not the 7th, but the 8th.
No, well, the 7th edition was the one where he just said use the word penis a lot, and then he got some pushback, and so for the 8th edition,
Red
he was like,
line.
use the word dick.
Okay.
It's funnier.
Last book purchase, Conversations with Great Movie Makers of Hollywood's Golden Age at the AFI. Oh, no, not the last book. The Golden Age of Cinema, Build My Gallows. Build My Gallows.
That's where
High.
people get hung.
Film Inc. Oh, yeah.
I feel like
they
Build
do.
My Gallows High is like the title of a biography of a director or something.
Also had some clothing purchased. Some men's Henley long sleeve neck long sleeve shirts. Daily Look linen
Oh.
shirts.
But not
khakis. In khaki
Probably
color.
turtleneck.
I like Henleys. I'm wearing a
Are they?
Henley right now, actually.
Yeah.
Short sleeve.
Did you
Henley.
buy some other Henleys recently?
No, I'm actually in need of buying some Henleys because a couple of them are the stitching is falling out on
So somebody both likes the same books as you as well as wears the same shirts.
Maybe I have a stalker.
I hope so. Tell us more.
Also had a TV wall mount bracket purchase for 26 to 55-inch LED.
Tim also has one of those.
I do have a 55-inch.
Yeah.
All right.
Wall mount.
Also a 100-count coffee filter from a Mr. Coffee.
All right.
Mueller Ultra Speed Boiler Cordless Electric Kettle. Do you have an electric kettle, Tim?
I have an electric kettle. It's a
Must have.
It's a KitchenAid, I think.
Okay. Everybody needs one.
Yeah.
You want hot tea?
So great.
If you're boiling water in a pot,
Tea.
come join
Oatmeal.
us at 21st
If you're
Century.
boiling water to make tea, you need to get one of the nice electric kettles that lets you select the temperature because you shouldn't put boiling
you're
water
right.
on tea leaves.
You're right.
Also
That's
had
a good
a
point.
polka dot washable fabric shower curtain, mold resistant. Need that.
Tim?
Gets steamy in the showers.
No, you're into the polka
Oh
dots.
no, I like mold.
Oh, yeah.
I like hate it.
To go with the filters, we also had a Mr. Coffee 4-cup programmable coffee maker purchase.
Cool.
Nice. Along with a 16 magnetic spice tins. Stick them to things.
I love those.
I had one of those and I accidentally stuck it to my toaster oven and forgot about it.
Ooh, oops.
And then I turned on
toasted
my
your
toaster
time?
oven and my garlic the garlic
Oh.
container kind of got ooey.
Was there a good smell, though, for a while?
Well, it smelled of plastic and garlic. And no, it was a horrible smell.
Yum.
Had a Mira 40-ounce stainless steel vacuum insulated wide mouth water bottle purchase. Thank you for that. Frigidaire, refrigerator
Tim also has
water.
a wide mouth. All right, keep going.
No.
I need a wide mouth.
To fill that bottle up, get a water filter for your refrigerator. Appreciate that purchase on the Frigidaire. Some Beehive picture hangers, revolutionary picture frame hanging kit. Also, some toys and games.
So can you hang any picture in them and they are shaped like a beehive or they are hangers for your pictures of beehives?
Inconclusive. Inconclusive.
Let's look up the item when we're done.
Toys and games, The Game of Life, Amazon exclusive. And then video games, I want this. Midway Arcade Treasures Part 3 on the PlayStation 2. So imagining it's a conglomeration of different Midway
Do you
games.
still sell PlayStation 2 games?
What do you
believe
have?
so.
A 3 or a 2?
I'm
Rob's at a 3.
way behind too.
I have a 3. Here's my life hack. If you're a Nintendo owner, as I am, wait until the next generation of Sonys are out because then you can buy a PlayStation that will still seem like a jump up in technology from the Wii that you just had or the Wii U, but it'll also have like 5 years worth of built-in games and it'll feel like you just got this amazing new thing and you didn't have to wait around for like 5 years to get all those games.
There
Pro
you go.
tip.
Heard it here first. Also has some movies purchased. Get into the movies.
Okay.
Amazon Instant Video,
I'm
Lady
ready.
Bird, loved it.
Loved it. Good one.
Amazon Instant Video, Odd Man Out.
Oh, yeah.
We all caught that.
Odd Man Out was
Yeah.
good.
Well, Tim, you definitely caught that. We just caught up with it. Amazon Instant Video, Flashdance. Carrie, have you seen Flashdance?
Maybe.
What a feeling.
Is there nudity while dancing?
I don't
I
think
don't think
so.
there's actually nudity.
No
is
flashing?
There,
There
she's
is
a-
welding,
Yeah, stripper.
but not
Okay.
romantic.
Stripper by night, welder by day.
No.
Nothing. No.
Sounds good, though.
On DVD, The Wizard of Oz 3-disc Emerald Edition.
Seen it.
Blu-ray.
edition.
American in Paris Blu-ray. Citizen Kane.
Seen American Paris. I've seen that.
You've seen American in Paris?
Yeah.
Not the wolf.
Surprises
Not
me.
the werewolf.
Is that the one with Owen Wilson walking around Europe?
No, it sure isn't.
Oh,
You're thinking of
Something midnight.
Midnight in
Euro Trip?
Paris.
Midnight in Paris.
Midnight in Paris, but close.
Not
Different.
bad,
No, it's
Carrie.
not.
Not bad. Close.
Thank you.
Citizen Kane's 75th anniversary.
Is
Getting
it
ready.
that old already?
Yeah.
My God, I feel old.
Also, if that makes you feel, how about Sound of Music 50th anniversary and Gone with the Wind 70th anniversary?
Ooh, musical.
These DVDs did not all come out the same year. The Gone with the Wind has already passed its 75th anniversary, in fact.
Okay.
On its 70th anniversary.
Amelie on Blu-ray as well.
Nice.
Donna Herlinda and Her Son.
I
Not
don't
familiar
know
with
what it
that?
No.
Alfred Hitchcock, The Masterpiece Collection. I want to get that.
It's a
That
nice
sounds
set.
Good one.
Nice set.
Legend of the Mountain on Blu-ray.
I want that so bad.
Well, listener, if you're
I
looking for,
ordered it for you,
a
maybe.
gift for Tim,
Yeah.
Last-
His address, I'll mail it over to whoever ordered that.
whoever wants it, we'll
Yeah.
we'll-
We'll just give you the address on. It's for Patreons only, though, so you'll need to spend 50 cents.
50 cents, exactly.
Pledge.
And last but not least, the Criterion Collection, Dressed to Kill on Blu-ray.
Cool.
When we get back, our top 5 movies ruined by bad acting. Welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 movies ruined by bad acting. This is almost like if, when I think about this episode, it's like, what would happen if Eric Stoltz actually completed Back to the Future? That would absolutely be on this list.
Would it? Maybe it would matter.
I've seen some of the. Have you seen some of the outtakes?
I actually haven't. I know
Okay.
they're available and I know they're terrible.
Yeah, just thinking Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future. What qualifies a movie ruined by bad acting to you, Care?
Bad acting. Okay, so I'm nervous about this one because I'm concerned about the people that you might include. So for me, the criteria here is the movie must have had a solid enough writing and directing situation that it could have been good, but it was exactly the poor acting and the quality of the acting that made it really bad. So like it could have been really good if the actors were different and it acted differently.
So the movie has to be bad. That's the part where I was...
No, the movie can still be good, but the acting can be bad. So it could have been even better if the acting was good.
So movies ruined didn't need to be...
Sure, I see what you're saying there,
It didn't need to be bad. It could have been good, and then...
It could have been mediocre, but it could have
been
been like a 5-star movie without the actor that they had in there, or actress.
Interesting.
And it also cannot include Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, or Rachel Green.
They've never done a bad movie, so
No.
I don't think it's not a problem.
Absolutely. Just so you know, on any of our lists.
I actually have fairly similar criterion. I couldn't quite come up with a list of 5 movies that were all bad, although that was the tiebreaker for my number 5 was whether one I just kind of find mediocre and one I find pretty decent, but clearly could have been better. But yeah, same thing. Like it needs to be a film that is deficient, like actively so because of the acting. Because a lot of great movies have a bad performance in them, but it's just like, oh, well, it's a great movie, but for that one performance. This has to be where I actually feel like the movie has been scuttled in a way because of the acting in it. And I also tried really hard to err on the side of acting, not casting. So not anything where like someone was just straight up wrong for the role, unless they were wrong for the role because their acting style pointed in the wrong direction.
Okay, well, we're going to have some that certainly aren't on the list together because I think some of mine were casting. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, good delineation. Because mine. I'm very similar with all of you. Obviously, it couldn't have been a great movie if it's been ruined. So I didn't say it had to be a bad movie, but it had to be taken down quite a few notches because of a material acting element in it as well too. So I'll say that. Like,
name your actor too. Got to name your actor.
Oh, of course,
actress.
Oh, and I will say, some of mine have multiple bad acting, and
Agreed.
ranking was based in part on how many bad actors there were.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So I did it by how much the acting ruined the movie. So it's not my favorite movie ruined by bad acting. It's the one I thought the acting caused it to have that disparity between being
for me
good.
it's the gap between the movie in my head and the movie that was made, as well as how many actors contributed to that being the case.
Is that how your ranking is, Care, more or less?
I don't even actually know. I'm looking at the ranking right now. They're just all bad actors. I think I went on who was the worst experience of a bad actor.
Sure.
I didn't want this to be just bad acting performances because there's plenty of those to go around often. It's just like where the movie had that potential to be
totally.
something amazing.
And that's it.
Yeah.
For me, it had potential.
The Room is not ruined by Tommy Wiseau's acting. It's a terrible movie already.
Right.
So that was the thing. I had to see it. It had to be a movie that I think there was a great, or at least very good movie inside it. With changing nothing but the cast.
Had it had Tom Hanks, it could have been a 5-star movie kind
Just
of
that
thing.
Hanks.
I think that is, in fact, all 5 of my movies would have been much better with Tom Hanks.
We might have 100% overlap today. We might.
All right, number 5 to you, Care.
Number 5 for me is a weird pick, but it somehow came to mind. I also don't know if you guys took this tact when you went through it, but I went through and pulled out the people that I think are the worst actors ever and then looked at their filmography and then pulled out the worst movie that they had ever done.
Well, for me, the worst actors ever are probably not in movies that would have been good.
Well, I mean, worst movie. All right, so I'll get there.
Again, like Tommy Wiseau didn't ruin The Room.
Yeah.
So this one for me, it was in a year, and it stars the really, really, really bad Kevin Costner.
Okay.
And the really, really, really bad Dennis Hopper.
Okay, then we're not on the same page.
Can you think of what movie I'm
sure that
talking
I'm familiar
about?
with a movie that they're both in.
Yeah, I don't know any. Oh wait, Welcome to Graceland?
No, it's a one. I thought you guys would guess this right away when I said that. Dennis Hopper with an eye patch.
Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Oh.
Waterworld.
Yeah.
This movie was just what?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you a little about.
We'll let Carrie talk about it.
The people that I've already mentioned, Dennis Hopper with an eye patch. So this is directed by Kevin Reynolds and written by Peter Radar. This movie takes place in a future where polar ice caps have melted and most of the planet is covered by water. So people are just floating around on these big raft boats situations, and there's a couple good boats and there's some bad boats, some good guys and bad guys, and one boat ends up having to help this woman and this young girl find dry land.
It is literally the Road Warrior at sea.
Right.
Yeah.
down to like fairly specific beats.
I literally remember I saw this in college and remember thinking, how did Kevin Costner go from Field of Dreams and Robin of Locksley to Waterworld?
I wish to take exception with one part of what you just said.
Bodyguard.
I think there's more of a lateral movement from Robin Hood to Waterworld.
I remember thinking like...
Also, speaking of movies ruined by bad acting.
Those aren't on the list.
I think Robin Hood would be a strong contender.
I don't agree there, but I remember specifically thinking, like, who is this weirdo with an eye patch? Like, the acting was so deliberate in this. I didn't feel bought into their characters at all. It felt like two guys standing there that were actors on a raft.
I mean, I think any film with Kevin Costner in the cast that is not Bull Durham is a reasonable candidate for movies.
That's Field of Dreams. You can't even
It's really only a question of whether the movie was ruined or not. Like,
that's the thing, and that's
like
where
he comes powerful close to ruining Dances with Wolves, but I still think Dances with Wolves holds up.
And that's the thing. I don't think there's a good movie in Waterworld.
That's the thing. I don't think there's a good movie in Waterworld.
Oh.
I think there's a good movie.
I see what you're saying.
Way further back.
No. So, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. This movie could have been really, the concept of this movie is really cool.
Right.
And so I guess why this made it on here for me is the concept of this movie is really neat. And I think had you put in Tom Hanks, it could have been much better.
Conceptually good movie, but there are other elements
I think you needed
to
go
movie.
into the script to fix it. Like pretty
Really?
deep into the script.
Yeah.
Also, can I just point out that the screenwriter's name was Peter Radar?
That's what I just said.
And Peter Radar sounds like something that needs to have dirty jokes made about it. So like, I want us to find other films that Mr. Radar wrote so we can talk about them, and then I can workshop a gag about having a Peter Radar. Which I feel like something along the lines of like, oh, well, the last time I was at a gay bar, I could have used a better Peter Radar or something like that. We'll work on it. That was terrible.
We'll work that in.
I'm going to workshop it.
We'll work it in. So that was my number 5, but I get where you're going. I did think it could have been better with
Peter's
better
euphemism
actors.
for penises.
Yeah.
That's where I was going.
With the movie. What's your number 5?
So my number 5 is going to be the one that I think is contentious. It'll be contentious both in that I'm calling it a bad movie.
I'm so worried.
And also in that I'm saying it specifically the acting is the reason it's a bad movie.
Okay.
Because it's regarded as a classic. This is a beloved 1961 Best Picture winning musical, West Side Story.
Interesting.
The Sharks and the
Jets. Romeo and Juliet on the gangs in New York. Maybe a couple spoilers there. So it's inside joke for myself. No one else gets it.
No, I don't.
It'll be clear by the end of the list.
I'm laughing like I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Natalie Wood is really good at a certain kind of naturalism. Natalie Wood is fucking horrible at playing a Puerto Rican girl.
I don't know.
She's real bad at it.
I don't know.
Because she's not even vaguely Puerto Rican.
You
So
don't
part
know
of it is
that.
just like the brown face it breaks the movie. I don't think she's the only bad performance. I think Richard Bamer as Tony, the Romeo character. I think Oscar winner George Chakiris as the like leader of the Sharks is also really shitty. I think the argument can be made that Rita Moreno is the only actively good performance in the film, but she's really, really, really good. But I think that it's a great show. Like the material in West Side Story holds up. The songs are a little like they're not the best either Bernstein or Sondheim, the composer and lyricist, ever put together, but they're good songs. Choreography's great. Location photography in the opening part of the movie is phenomenal. Really cool sets. I just cannot deal with the love plot, and it's largely because I think the two leads are just not interesting.
Rob hasn't seen this.
I have not.
I have. Yeah, I have.
And?
Here's the thing. I excluded musicals because I feel like that's all bad acting, you know?
Hush your mouth,
So,
young woman. I beg your
La La
pardon.
Land, bad acting?
you know what I mean. That's not
I
a
do
real
not.
musical.
I clearly do not know what you mean.
But it's like, I didn't think of any of these as bad.
I mean,
They're dancing and
is
singing around.
Fred Astaire a great actor? No. But is Fred Astaire a problem in any movie he made? No, he's delightful. He's
I didn't think of it.
charming.
No
He's
one
like your
jumped out at
charming,
me.
Bald skeleton uncle.
No one jumped out at me and this is like, oh, you ruined this movie for me.
Natalie Wood ruined this movie for me a little bit.
I don't know. It was down the middle for me. I would never have thought of this.
Well, for
But
me,
interesting.
number 5, because I'm ranking by how much they ruined it. This movie in particular in 2014 was not ruined. I still thought it was okay, but could have been improved upon dramatically had the lead actor been better.
2013?
2014.
Oh, 14.
And that's disappointing for me because I actually like this actor. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I do like him.
I almost
us
put this
some
one
more
on my
clues.
list, but
Wait,
I
don't
still
even
like
know.
the movie a
That's the thing.
lot.
I
clues.
like it a lot. Huh?
What is it? More clues.
More clues?
Also, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson has made everything he's ever been in worse. So I disagree
Are
with
you
you
serious?
on that point. Every
I love
single
Aaron Taylor
thing.
Johnson. I do like him. I'm talking. You want a clue?
Yeah, give me a clue.
Kind of a.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
She's not going to know. I was with you.
That was
that
terrible,
Wookiee?
though.
Chewie?
It was not a Wookiee, but it sounded more like a Wookiee than what it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Like add
E.T.
like a lion to what
Speaking
I
of
just
bad acting, was a retry from a 1998 movie starring Matthew Broderick.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
did. Yep.
No,
But the next one.
no, not at all. Godzilla.
Oh.
Yeah, the 2014 Godzilla,
Unexpected.
directed by Gareth Edwards, who brought Monsters, which we tried to watch. We were a little tired. We probably should give that another try. And Rogue One. Rogue One.
Okay.
Star Wars story.
Star Wars story. Starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Bryan Cranston. Obviously, this is the origin story of Godzilla, the retread of the origin
It's like
story.
the 15th
origin
story of Godzilla.
And this is coming off of Bryan Cranston doing, what's the show? Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
I was so psyched to hear Bryan Cranston was in this. I was like, what's he going to do? The trailers made it seem like he played a big element in it. And he plays a material role, but it was really Aaron Taylor Johnson's just lack of emoting anything in any scene. And he's the lead character. You're supposed to care about him, and kind of he's the through line through the whole thing. I had big problems. It was just get me to the monsters. Anything monster related, this movie was great and kind of setting up the tension. Bryan Cranston was great. Elizabeth Olsen was fine. But yeah, it was Aaron Taylor Johnson who just kind of ruined it for me. I just didn't care.
And you'd agree with this?
I don't know if I feel that the movie was ruined is the thing. Like Godzilla films since time immemorial have always had a lot more human action than monster action than you would think necessarily. I also don't know if subbing out Aaron Taylor, I don't know if it's the performance or if it's just the character. If Bryan Cranston had been the lead, 100% the movie would have been better, no question. I don't know if any other actor could have made Aaron Taylor Johnson's character interesting.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh. No, I agree with Rob.
No, but and maybe that's a little bit on the. Well, no, it's not the writing's fault, but they.
No, this was my number 6.
Oh, is it really?
It was
this
my number
close?
5 this morning.
Okay.
So we almost overlapped.
Okay.
But it's just, I still like the movie a lot.
I like, and that's what I was saying. I like it too. I couldn't find enough movies that I could really delineate that it was
the thing.
bad acting.
Good movies tend to have good acting, and bad movies tend to have bad acting.
Yeah.
So good movies with bad acting that ruins them are tough.
And this was an okay movie for me that could have been just
Clearly.
really great had just the human element been better, led by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Listener Alex Frith and Surly Duff also had this on their list. Number 4, do you care?
Number 4 to me, I'm just going to clarify. I thought, so when I didn't read the word ruin, I thought the movie could have been a lot better.
Sure.
If
And I think
without acting.
that's what I just
Godzilla
said.
clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to be clear here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
this
I think West Side Story is a good movie.
Right.
It
Okay,
gets-
good.
it
My
gets-
other 4 I think are bad movies.
It gets
Okay.
worse. It gets worse from here for me.
Because this one's an excellent movie, but it could have been better, is what I'm saying. Because it could happen to you.
Replaced the blonde lady in Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade with a different blonde lady.
I don't pick that for everything. I already said the title of the movie. You guys didn't even hear it because I weaved it in there. I already said it.
I missed it.
It could happen to you.
When did you say that?
It could happen to you.
No, but when did you say it?
I said it like a minute ago.
I didn't hear you say
Like
it.
30 seconds ago.
What was the context for it?
It was like really random and you guys didn't hear it. Yeah.
We
Well,
were
it
too
can
busy
happen to
talking
you, yeah.
about
It's a movie.
I know
Oh,
what
okay.
it is.
It's a
they
movie
win the lottery.
Yes.
with Nicolas Cage,
Yes.
who is in my top 5 least favorite actors ever. Oh, you like him?
I like him as a force of energy.
Oh, no, I don't. I feel like he's weird. He was in that
very.
movie with this gross situation as a cop. He was a terrible cop in that
Bad
alley.
Lieutenant Port of Call, New Orleans?
Yeah.
That's a masterpiece.
Scarred.
That's a masterpiece.
Scarred.
And it's a masterpiece in part because
You're
of him.
joking. 'Cause
I
that
am
was the
serious
worst.
as hell.
Oh, I hated that movie
It's a
so
Herzog.
much. It's so
There's
bad.
a really good Herzog joke in Book Club, by the way.
I will look for it.
Not a movie to watch with your father-in-law.
No. Oh, did you watch that with my dad?
We watched it with my dad.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh, I don't care with your dad. Your dad's dirty.
What's wrong about that?
When he propositions the
lady
tries
in
to
the
get the woman out of
alley.
the
Oh,
ticket.
sure. I get that.
Yeah.
Not ideal. So not a fan. Also, it's like, do I choose this or do I choose Face Off? It's like, ugh. But like, I don't know. So I went with It Could Happen to You. This one, if you missed it, is a police officer who's married, goes to this cafe all the time, and there's the nicest waitress who's played by Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Sounds
Am I right?
I haven't
So,
seen the movie,
you haven't?
No.
Oh, you would hate
just
it.
remember the ad campaign
You would
from
hate it
1990,
so
whatever.
much because it's so cute.
actually. No, I love it because it has Nick Cage in it. He's my favorite.
Oh, That's right. So he, it's distracting that you like him. He goes out. He's married to this terrible woman who's played by Rosie Perez, and he goes off to this cafe every day. And he doesn't have money one day, and he's like, "Oh, I need to leave you a tip," but all he has is a lotto ticket. And so he's like, "Well, if I win, I will share the winnings with you." And she's like, "Okay," and she's super sweet, and he wins, obviously. And so he feels compelled to stay true to his word, and much to the chagrin of his wife, give her this $2 million or whatever that it is that he's won. It's just a love story. It's super sweet and super cute. But Nick Cage for me is just like,
he ruins it.
Your face, like I just is.
Wait, my face?
I mean,
No.
to be fair, if the romantic lead in a romantic comedy is someone you find unappealing, then it's very hard for that romantic
It
comedy
is.
to
I couldn't get into it because Bridget Fonda too is super cute and sweet, and I feel like had you paired that with, let's say, I'm not going to say Tom Hanks because that actually would be weird, but who's another good one?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Like Brad Pitt. Or not Brad Pitt. No, that's a bad one too. Maybe Heath Ledger?
I thought
Heath Ledger?
I thought Nicolas Cage in this was pretty. I thought it was a charming little cute romantic comedy.
I didn't like him. I'm just
I
not
thought
a fan.
they were a good pair. But yeah, it's just funny. Like I don't. Yeah, well, I guess I struggle with feeling like it was ruined or could have been improved upon by someone
I just feel like it's one of those ones where, without him, it would have been an excellent 5-star movie. Could have been better.
5-star movie. Yeah.
4.5. 4 to 4.5. 3.5 to 5.
Interesting. Tim?
3 to 5.
Oh, well, I'm going to actually stick with romantic movies ruined in part because of the abysmal lack of chemistry between the romantic leads. I think this one might also be a little bit of a stretch just in that is the acting the only thing wrong with this movie? Probably not, but it is certainly the biggest thing wrong with this movie. So I am thinking here of Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton in many things, because even though they were sleeping together in real life, they had terrible on-screen chemistry. But I'm specifically thinking of 1963's Cleopatra.
Finally, I'm excited to hear about it.
So
box office bomb, right?
Box office bomb, massive. I mean, I think it did decently at the box office, but it cost so much money that it still lost a lot of money for Fox. So there's kind of a nest of reasons why the acting ruins it. One is that it was supposed to be 2 movies. And it was made 1 movie in part because Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor were having a very, very prominent affair. And so they knew, well, the audiences are going to want to see them on screen together. But that didn't happen until the second movie.
Was it private?
Very anti-private.
Oh, okay.
It was like an international news story.
Okay.
I mean, they wanted
So
it to be
people
private.
wanted to know.
They weren't like
see
having
them.
sex in the middle of like Times Square.
Okay. But people knew it wasn't like it was a public affair.
It was very public.
Okay.
Very, very public. So, so that's part of it. The movie is ruined in part just because they're in it, because that means that we can't have a nice little 2-part Cleopatra. We need to have this overstuffed, bloated 1-part Cleopatra. The other is that the first part of it works pretty decently when it's Liz Taylor versus Rex Harrison as Caesar. They're good. Like, she's not great. It's still too long-ish. There's some problems in just like, it was an out-of-control production, and you can tell that, but it's a fun out-of-control production. It's like one of those really cool sort of overboard like old-world epics from the 60s, some really good production design. Rex Harrison is delightful in it. Then along comes the second half, and it's a love story between Mark Antony, played by Richard Burton, and Cleopatra, played by Elizabeth Taylor, and they're so awful together. They're impossible to believe.
What is it that's what's so hard to believe?
They don't have chemistry on screen. Like if I'm watching a movie about 2 star-crossed lovers, I want to like feel their
hearts beating. Yeah.
I want to like daydream about them canoodling in a field of clover.
Okay.
Or whatever. And I don't.
Yeah.
They feel like they don't get along. They feel like
why.
they absolutely have no chemistry, no sort of spark between them. Elizabeth Taylor feels so much flatter when Burton comes in. Like she's got like a lot of sparkle to her when Rex Harrison is there, and she just turns into this like flat, toneless nothing. And Burton starts that way. I mean, he's just no good at all. So you have potentially this really wonderful, heaving, epic love story that just completely falls apart because the leads are just, they suck. They suck together. And they make each other suck. Cleopatra, 1963, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, one of the famous massive bombs in cinema history.
I've heard.
I've got another bomb for you with my number 4, Tim.
All right.
More modern. This pairs a father and son who were a real life father and son who were together in the movie In Pursuit of Happiness, and reteams them for an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
Pursuit of Happiness?
That was the first movie. This is the second reteaming of the father and son, and this is a movie where he let his son Jaden Smith run with it. And
Sure did.
And this movie's called After Earth, 2013's After Earth.
No.
It is a good movie. Sans Jaden Smith trying to carry the load of this movie.
I thought about this one, but I'm not convinced there's a good movie in it.
You don't think so?
I'm not sure.
So
It was still Shyamalan during his like dark days.
it is, but it's really like you're putting so much on young Jaden Smith, and
he's clearly the worst thing in it.
Yes, and
Will Smith is pretty crap in it too.
Yeah, maybe
He's pretty crap.
So it's a crash landing, leaves young Jaden Smith and his dad stranded on Earth. Earth has been kind of it's
gone.
It's
It's
fast forward in
like
the future.
Post Earth,
like
later than Earth.
Everything's been
Like an
evolved.
Earth that
Is
is
it
not
after
present.
Earth?
It's like after Earth.
Oh, okay.
It's everything's evolved to kill you, like everything.
It's Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's with their butter knives? Yeah.
And there are these creatures that prey on fear, right? Is that what?
I mean, this is
Have
the
you not
movie
seen
you
it?
think is good. I haven't seen it since it was in theaters.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, they prey on fear.
Okay.
And
What kind of thing is it? Like
it's an alien creature that kills
It just
everything.
knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're transporting it, or they're fighting it off world. And Will Smith is the only one who's mastered like being fearless. And it's kind of the absence of fear. And he's trying to teach his son how to do that, because that's what you need to do in order to master this. And lo and behold, they crash land to Earth with the creature on board. So this terrible evolved creature on this evolved after Earth, and he's injured. Will Smith is injured, so his son has to go on this journey to try to like save the day,
world. Okay.
and try to.
Where does
become
everyone
fearless.
live?
In
space.
other planets.
Oh, okay.
Space.
Okay.
Yeah, spaceships. Just he did not. He just could not emote.
How old was he in this though?
14.
14, 15.
Because I had I forgot to share that rule. I have rules about like how little a kid could be in this, because there's like a bad acting quality
Yeah,
of like
a lot of movies are ruined because of the kids.
Pre-10,
I would
I don't
frankly
think you
say
can do
Wrinkle in
pre-10.
Time just this past
Agreed,
spring was totally
agreed.
a film
That's
almost
true.
entirely ruined because of its kids.
I completely agreed,
But
and
see,
I excluded it.
I would have loved to see this movie with a better young actor put in
Yeah.
the role, because I loved all of the visual effects. Were I don't know, I need to go back to I don't know what problems you had with it other than the acting, but I think stylistically
I gave it a 3
plot-wise-
out of 10 back in the day, so I must have hated it.
I'm going to
a
read
lot.
back. And I wonder if 7 of those points were deducted just from
That
the
seems like a lot of points for
because it's a decent it's basically a little bit like a Predator type of a movie. And again, all the Earth stuff, like the way that the Earth has evolved to kill you, was really interesting.
Yeah.
The creature itself is actually pretty interesting.
Was this pre or post iRobot?
Post.
Yeah.
You guys aren't even looking at me like, whoa.
This is
good
from
pull.
like 2013.
Nice job.
No, but that's
iRobot
the
was
one-
like 2000.
Nice
That's
job
the
that
one
you
with
know
Will
a movie
Smith,
that
right?
Will Smith is in. Great job.
But no, with the aliens that were took over the
That would
world,
be a robot.
and he
That
had the
is
dog.
not iRobot at all.
iRobot.
Oh, what's the one with the
That would
dog
be
and Will
vampires.
Smith? No,
And that's,
dog and Will Smith.
That's
those
I
are-
Am Legend.
those are
I Am
vampires.
Legend
Yeah.
is what I
They're
meant.
vampires.
Is it kind of like I Am Legend?
Nope.
No, not at all.
But yeah, and I think Jaden was all, they tried to make him do like some sort of weird accent. I think.
Yeah,
was
they
present.
both do a weird accent.
Yeah, so
What kind?
I think it's meant to be like Afrikaans.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
What does that sound like?
South African accent. I can't do it.
No.
at
Oh, you
all.
can't. No.
But he was
not
just-
even for the podcast.
No, not even remotely.
Jaden was bland.
If I do it, it's going to sound like I'm trying to do a really bad Australian accent.
Okay.
Is the thing.
Jaden is bland and monotone. I actually thought the movie was okay, even with all
But
this.
could have been
being said,
better.
but could have been one of my favorite movies of that year had it been just a better actor placed in that role. Number 3, do you care?
Number 3 to me is one that I'm very surprised made my list, because it's a recent viewing for me, maybe not so recent for you guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I'm just excited.
Are you?
I think.
I remember when I watched this movie for the first time, much after you guys.
Okay, never mind.
No, okay. That I immediately was like, this is the worst acting.
Citizen Kane?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh.
Worst acting I've ever seen in my whole life, and it ruined it for me. This one legit was ruined by Hayden Christensen. And this is 2005's Star Wars Revenge of the Sith.
Or any movie that Hayden Christensen's in.
I decided not to include the Star Wars prequels on the grounds that those people could not survive that director.
What was the guy, the Duckbo Platypus that was in this too? Was he in this
Jar Jar
one?
Binks. He's only in like a shot and he doesn't speak.
Yep, still ruined it for me.
Fair enough.
Still
Yeah,
ruined
I
it.
Hard
thought
to call that acting though.
Yeah.
I thought of including it based on both
It's
of those
not on your
characters.
list?
No, it's not, because there's so much else wrong.
I mean, Sith crossed my mind, but again, like I don't know that there's so much else wrong with Sith other than the really bad acting. But I feel like
Well, that's what I guess I was going more for. Like, this could have been such a
it could have
much
been.
better movie, though.
I feel it's more the directing of actors than the acting. But I see where you're at. And I'm with
this
you.
acting was rich. And the ponytail? What was up with that little like rat tail thing he had? You know?
Oh yeah, no, the rat tail's awful.
That's awful.
That's like a thing though in the Padawans.
It's terrible.
It's a thing that they chose. Padawans don't exist, and it's not a documentary.
I'm actually not going to talk about this movie at all, but it's Hayden Christensen who plays Anakin Skywalker in this movie.
I don't think anyone's going to be like, I'm sorry, Hayden Christensen was great. I think
was,
everyone
like,
knows what
good.
you're talking about.
He was terrible.
You know what's interesting as we're going through this is, I think
in my view, it is the Jedi who are evil.
Yeah. Somebody loves him out there.
I also did a better job of delivering that line than he did, so I don't even know why I did it.
both of you are picking. I focused on one actor, like, and it's interesting, or actress, and it's interesting that you're. I agree, like the fact that. Well, no, and Jar Jar, and Jar Jar,
and Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar is not an actor, but a CGI effect.
Sure.
Whatever.
I was listening to the movie for like 2 seconds.
So that's my number 3.
All right.
Hated him. Not hated. Hate's a strong word. Thought he was terrible.
I think his mother should feel guilty that she didn't get an abortion.
Mrs. Christensen. Oh, that's harsh. Edit that out.
I wanted you to feel better about saying hate because I know you don't like using the word hate.
Thanks. You're
So I
really
figured
thoughtful.
I would go for that.
It's really considerate to make me feel better about myself with
Jumped
that
on the
really
grenade for you,
terrible
Carrie.
thing you said. So that's my number 3.
All right. So one of the reasons I started short link to myself when I said that West Side Story is basically Romeo and Juliet set among the gangs of New York is because my number 3 is Gangs of New York.
Okay.
So Gangs of New York, 2002 it says on Wikipedia, but I'm pretty sure it's 2003 was the year it came out. I don't know. Anyway, whatever year it came out. No, December 20, 2002, so I take it back. This is a film with a screenplay by Jay Cox, who really does need to collaborate with Peter Radar at some point, I would say. Because Peter Radar will just keep staring at Jay, and that's
really subtle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to go for subtle. Sometimes this is an audio medium. I can't assume that like visual cues.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're holding up a picture of a penis right now, which makes it more.
And in fact, that's my penis. It
Yeah.
just looks like it's drawn. So anyways, this is a 2002 film, Martin Scorsese's like long gestating passion project about how America was born in the streets of New York. Beautiful production design, probably too long, maybe a little bit sloppy in the story, but it's one of those sort of like overwhelmingly big, ambitious, crazy films that I would ordinarily love even despite their flaws, except that the film is led by a pair of people who are in wildly over their heads. One of these is Leonardo DiCaprio as the character Amsterdam Valen. The other is Cameron Diaz as Jenny Everdeen. You'll always hear people talk shit about Cameron Diaz in this film. She is remarkably bad. Like, you can tell she gave no thought to how to pretend it was the 19th century. She's clearly... It's 2001. Cameron Diaz is just out there 2001ing it up and just awful. I think Leonardo is really, really bad too. And like he doesn't get as much shit.
You've seen this, I bet.
Yeah, I
as,
do.
As she does. I think he also, the same problem he had with Titanic, he's too modern. He's not quite as much too modern as she is, but both of them between them just completely break the illusion of the film for me in a way that makes me turn against other things that I would have potentially liked. Like that big, crazy running time and, the sort of just sprawl of it. That being said, Daniel Day-Lewis is so good as to almost reel it all back in, but he doesn't quite.
Yeah. And I thought about this movie.
Did you?
Not because of Leo. Now that you pointed out, like, I have to rethink it, but I kind of like just start swooning whenever I see him on screen.
People tend to like Leo in this film. I just don't. I don't really necessarily like any of the things he did with Scorsese.
But I agree with you 100% that Cameron Diaz is really well said, that she is just a modern girl in an old time, and it really stands out in the movie. I still liked it, and that's the reason why I kept it off the list. But I agree, she dropped it down quite a few notches.
To me, this goes from like being a 4-star movie to a 2.5-star movie almost entirely based on those two.
Do you have it as a 2.5-star movie?
It would be a 2.5-star movie for me.
What do you have it at?
I haven't reviewed it at all.
It's probably a 4-star movie.
It would be for me. It would be
it's a 4-star movie, and it would probably be 5 if it was shorter and Cameron Diaz was better. But interesting. No, good pick. I'm bringing it back a little bit to another. I don't know if this was a box office. I don't think it was a box office bomb like Waterworld, but certainly directed by the same director as Waterworld.
He directed other movies?
Count of Monte Cristo, and more recently Risen, which I don't think any of us have seen.
Sounds like I need to do a bit of a director's retrospective.
I'm bringing it back to Kevin Costner care with the movie that you said was good, and that's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, don't.
And that Tim said very well should be on this year list, and it is.
Take it off. He was so good and believable.
That is
As a
lie.
Californian
It's
playing
flat-out
a-
lie.
What do you mean California?
He's always a Californian
Yeah.
playing a whatever. So if he's not playing a Californian, it's bad.
Well, that's where I thought you'd disagree with me because you said casting earlier, and people still cast him and everything.
I was talking about things like if you Google who was like bad acting ruining movies, you'll always see Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. He's terrible in it. I don't think he ruins the movie, but it's chiefly because it's a yellowface thing. I'm not going to count
What's a yellowface thing?
A white actor playing an Asian character.
Who's playing Asian
Mickey
character?
Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's the sort of thing I'm just not going to count.
Yeah.
Like it's
So
different.
this is fair game for you.
This is totally fair game.
Okay, good. Because Kevin Costner really does.
There's nothing ruined about this movie, though.
And again, to Tim's point, does he ruin many more movies? Absolutely, he does. He's charming in a way, but in a way that can't carry a movie quite
I think
like
the
this. with
only
everybody.
movie that wouldn't be better without, like, you could replace him and make every single movie he was ever in better, except for Bull Durham. And maybe you could even make it better. Like if you made Tom Hanks
Field
the
of
character in Bull Durham.
Dreams. Field of Dreams, people.
I think if Tom Hanks played Jimmy Dreams or whatever.
No,
his
I
name
don't
is,
think so. It would
I
have
think
been
it'd be better.
different.
I think
No.
it would have been better, and that's what would have made it different.
I don't think Jimmy
he's just-
Dreams. Jimmy Dreams.
Throughout
I
this
don't
whole
remember his name.
It's not
Throughout this-
Jimmy Dreams.
throughout this movie, he's just kind of going through the motions against stern face, and I just have a problem with people who are trying to. And
He
this is
saved
actually
everyone's
common-
lives. Remember when he shot the arrow and he like got it through the rope, like he was about to die. The kid was about to
Kevin
die.
Costner didn't do that.
Yeah, he did.
An archer did that.
No, he was an archer though. But you're
What bothers me is everybody else is
Oh.
really bringing it. Like Morgan Freeman doing a great. Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman's
It
great.
was
who's
just
the guy that has the no eyeballs?
It's the no eyeballs.
Who he gets his eyeballs cut out?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't
the guy with
remember
the old
what's
man
happening.
with the no eyeballs. He's got to be
I
somebody.
need to see the film.
Oh,
I'm
the
sure
witch.
he's somebody.
The Witch was amazing.
Oh, the witch. Top 5 witches.
Mary Elizabeth Masterman. Not Masterman.
Masterman. No.
Also great as the female lead, but again, no chemistry between the two.
Alan
so I could
Rickman.
care
Did you already
less.
say Alan
So
Rickman?
did Alan Rickman.
So-
Oh,
But thankfully, the Bryan Adams score bringing it all back. But no,
so
I
good.
want
So
to
I
like
know
this
that
movie.
All for One and All for Love is from the Three Musketeers. Which was the one from this one?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, but I
Sing
went
it.
for. I don't know.
I don't remember it. That's the problem.
Oh.
I'll be looking this up.
problematic.
Keep.
You keep going
I
and
don't know
tell
if I
me
have much
more.
else to say about
Okay,
this, except
well-
that Becca Stewart, audience member, also had this on our list. And you
Also
guys
had it
had
wrong.
I will say I'm giving some thought to reviewing this movie when the new Taron Egerton Robin Hood opens this fall. So we'll have a chance to talk
Hopefully, we
about that.
get a good Robin Hood, right? Like,
With Taron
has
Egerton.
there been a good Robin Hood?
Heck yeah, 1938,
has.
Errol Flynn.
I've not seen that.
I
You should.
loved
It's
this
phenomenal.
movie. Not that one, but the Kevin Costner
You
one.
would also love the one from 38.
I don't think so.
I've got Three Musketeers song stuck in my head.
Because it's all for one and all for love.
Yeah. That's not in
we
that movie.
harmonize?
No, that's in Three Musketeers. I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to find the one from Robin Hood.
I've got to be saying it though. Do
You know
you
it's true. Everything I do, I do it for you.
Do you need more wine?
Yeah.
I feel like I need more wine.
Nope, I still got some wine.
Okay.
I've had enough wine that I just did that.
Clearly, yeah. To cut that part out too.
No, leave that part in. That's good. That's good content.
So interesting. It's a very
I
upsetting.
know we
pick, but
disagree. I know we disagree. I
Yeah.
don't care. But
Rob,
we're on the same
Team
page.
Rob.
All right.
The next one for me, I went again with an actor that I despise, and so I was like, "Oh, do I go with The Matrix or do I go with?" I don't actually know what else he's in, but I despise this actor so very much, and I finally, after going through his entire filmography, went with the 2006 The Lake House.
Keanu needs to be on the list somewhere. I
He
understand.
has to. He has to.
I don't know if I agree.
Do you go with The Matrix? Do you go with Speed Control, or do you go
He's not in
with?
Speed Control.
Do you go with Cruise Control?
He's not in Cruise Control.
What is it? The first one?
Just Speed.
Just Speed.
Just Speed.
Do you go with Speed or do you go with The Lake House? And so I was like, I'm going to get a lot of flack for The Matrix. I didn't actually remember seeing it that much, so I went with The Lake House.
No, I think that's a good choice because I don't think he ruins the Matrix. I think his sort of implacable
perfect for it.
blandness works for the Matrix.
So bland.
He's so bland, but sometimes that he works that.
What about
sometimes.
The Devil's Advocate or Devil's?
That would be one where he does not work it.
Okay, yeah, that was another one on the list.
I'll argue to say there are more movies that he does not work.
I feel like Reeves almost falls into Costner territory where The Matrix is the only film where it
Yeah.
works, except he makes it work 3 times because he also makes it work in the Bill and Ted
Point Break?
films.
I was
Point
okay.
Break, he was
I
in that
okay.
too.
I'm okay with him.
Point Break. I still think that the movie would be better with another actor. I think
Agreed.
I've come around on Patrick Swayze in Point Break. I have not come around on Keanu in Point Break.
But all of these questions flowed through my mind, which is why I landed on
I get
The
it.
Lake House. Yeah. So this lonely doctor person is occupied
Also
at
called
this.
The Doctor.
Also a doctor who's once occupied this unusual lakeside house, begins exchanging love letters as a time travel movie with a former resident a frustrated architect. So the two must unravel the mystery behind the romance before it's. They start writing letters to each other, leaving them in the
mailbox in front of the lake house.
Right, but time is very weird in this movie. I think the concept of time travel is very cool, especially as it relates to love stories, and could have been significantly improved with Sandra Bullock being paired up with Matt Damon
Or Tom Hanks.
or George Clooney. I would even take a George Clooney. George Clooney for sure,
I would
but
take,
not a Keanu
I would take
Reeves.
a lot of people. I think the movie's problems go a little deeper than the casting, but I think that the casting is a major thing. And I don't think
major. Yeah, you couldn't buy the love story in this nearly as much as you needed to. And that's why it's made my number 2.
Fair enough. I mean, they were together in Speed, so there was some pre-existing chemistry. Maybe
They didn't date, did they?
materialize. I think
No.
they
No.
don't have a
I don't
thing.
think so.
They should have had a thing.
They should have had a
She
thing.
dated that abusive motorcycle designer.
They're
Ryan
off.
Gosling?
What?
No.
She did date Ryan Gosling.
No, the one
The
who
guy
had
with the
who had the reality
tattoos.
show.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Jesse
what's
Jesse
that.
Owens.
James. Jesse Owens.
That's
and
it.
Sandra Bullock.
When you said Jesse, I spitball.
No, every
Jesse,
list needs to have a Keanu Reeves movie. Yeah, so fair enough.
Right.
And neither of you have one yet, right?
Well, no, because mine is Bram
Yet.
Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
This is mine.
Hey,
At number 2?
Number 2.
Hey,
Really?
we line up.
right.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen this one. Tell me.
So it's Dracula. It's
Okay.
a pretty weirdly loose version of Dracula, but whatever. So we all know, Count Dracula played wonderfully by Gary Oldman as like an old drag queen, basically. Love it. Love the costumes. Love the performance. Everything about it. Invites an English solicitor named Jonathan Harker to his castle.
Jonathan Keanu.
Jonathan is Keanu. So
Oh.
all of that, plus he's playing a 19th century Englishman.
Oh, wow.
And he sometimes actually does try to do the accent. But
Like,
not always.
I'm not familiar with what that would sound like.
Neither was Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
But I'm gonna do what I just did with Gangs of New York and say Keanu's always the one who gets the shit for this movie because he is fucking terrible. But you know who's also really, really, really bad? Winona Ryder. Also,
That's unusual.
Also playing a 19th century person of English extraction. Not quite as wildly helpless as Keanu is, but pretty bad. She's also lost in the accent. Like Keanu, she never really gets a handle on like what it would be to play a Victorian. Like she's very clearly playing like a 90s person in drag. That being said, the movie, so much going for it. Phenomenal, once in a generation costuming by Eiko Ishioka. I think it's the film she won her Oscar for. Gary Oldman's great. Anthony Hopkins is super great as Van Helsing in like this really over-the-top campy way, but he's still fun to watch. The director, Francis Ford Coppola, decided early on that all of the visual effects were going to be done using practical in-camera techniques such that you could have made the exact same movie in the 1910s. I love that. That's
what's
so
a
cool.
practical in-camera technique?
No visual effects, no matting, everything, the bats, every visual effect in this vampire movie is done on set.
Okay.
Like no stopping the camera. It's all done while it's rolling. Such a cool movie, great design. Obviously Dracula is always a story worth telling. But oh my God, the two leads, and they are like the second and third biggest roles in this film. Just murder it dead.
Still won 3 Oscars.
I mean, it deserved those.
No,
Oscars.
it deserved them. Yeah, and again, this
I mean,
is
the
one-
costumes, like literally, maybe my favorite costumes in a movie in my lifetime.
Yeah, and the performances you mentioned him, Gary Oldman, and the costuming and just the mood of the movie, and then every time that it's like a Jar Jar Binks care. Every time he comes on
Yeah.
the damn camera,
You're
it's
like, come on, get out of here.
And I
It's like
didn't
with-
think about Winona. I didn't think about her, but yeah.
And to me, it is a Gangs of New York situation. Like, this is a movie that would be an easy 4-star for me with literally any other male lead.
Yeah.
And like, it's again, it falls down to at least maybe a 3 if I'm feeling crazy generous towards the costumes, but probably a 2.5.
It was just, what do you think? Capitalizing on the 90s.
I have no idea.
Winona.
What you're
I mean,
capitalizing
Winona.
on. Winona was
Keanu.
at her peak. Keanu had. I mean, was this capitalizing on his like great performance in the Much Ado About Nothing that he also completely sucked in? I don't know, because it was like around the same time.
Yeah.
Don't put Keanu Reeves in your period film. This is the lesson.
Oh, Keanu in period films, so good. That was my number 2, Care. So all we're left with number 1.
So is it to me?
Yeah, to you.
Okay. Number 1 to me is probably one that you won't expect, but this is the first movie that came to mind when you guys said this topic. And this is a more recent one, came out in 2017. And What?
Rob is doing like a
I have a
very
fist in the
excited-
air. Now
Are you
we're
sure?
lining up. When you did it
Rob-
earlier,
How do you
I
know?
wasn't sure. Oh, we're lining up.
You have no idea. This isn't a movie you would ever think I would ever think of. So you've thrown me off. It's by a guy that just looks like he's kind of like annoyed all the time, and a girl that also looks like she's annoyed all the time. I think they're both millennials, and it takes place in
Damn
the
millennials.
future.
Well, speaking of Keanu Reeves, we've got a.
He's not in there.
I know he's not, but it's basically his double, his youthful double.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but yeah. So this one is 2017's Valerian
Yeah, number one.
of yours
Absolutely.
in a city
Yeah,
of 1,000 planets.
that's the one.
No.
That's my number one.
Is this on yours?
No, to me the movie's not even close to being real.
Oh no, this is really
To
good.
me, this is still a 4-star movie.
No.
I think this would have been a great movie.
What a shock! I would never have thought you would have thought about this. This was my
it was
weird
my most
movie.
anticipated movie made.
I liked this more than
terrible
you
by
when
the two.
when we saw it, because I was less turned off by the acting than you were.
Oh, the acting's real bad.
It's real
but like,
real bad.
It's to me kind of an actor-proof movie is the thing. Like,
No, I don't think so. I think you could have layered other people. So for those of you who haven't seen it, it's Dane DeHaan, who just looks like drugged out.
I love Dane DeHaan. I love his
Not in this
his
one,
like
though. Did
heroin
you?
chic thing. No, he's terrible.
Oh, yeah, terrible.
He's so fucking terrible.
Really
he's so
bad.
badly cast.
He looks like he's on drugs, or like maybe coming off drugs, or like
He
wanting
looks
to start drugs.
He looks like he just
or-
came off of drugs, but he's relapsed.
Maybe.
But he's really sad about it, which is why his eyes are
And he's
watering.
drinking.
And he's drinking.
Yeah, I think like vodka.
You should see A Cure for Wellness because that like plays into all those things.
Yeah,
like it really leads.
It could
on
have
Dane
made this
DeHaan
list,
looking
but
like
I
a
haven't seen it.
6-year-old.
Kara
No idea. Delavina.
Delavina is all
Something.
in this too. She just seems irritated
She's
the whole
fine.
time.
She's not.
Rihanna's
she's
in
whatever.
this. She was a better part of this for me. I know. Yeah, and then Ethan Hawke plays a weird role in this.
Ethan Hawke is beautiful.
Yeah, no,
Hawke is
like a
faultless.
weird. No. Yeah, I didn't
All
think
right.
he was bad. And then Clive Owen's in this too. Anyway, if you missed it, since it's more recent, a dark force threatens an alpha planet.
Just threatens alpha.
It's the city of 1,000 planets.
Yeah, but it's like, is it a planet? Is
It's
it a
like
place?
it's like an accretion of planetoid shit.
Accretion's not a word I
onto
love. Can we
a space
feel like
station.
a different word?
It's a space station that has been built out to have a bunch of little biomes.
It's
Yeah.
utopia.
It's
Right.
utopia.
It's
utopia.
utopia. but
Okay.
for humans.
And so
Well,
special
friendly.
operatives Valerian and Laureline must race to identify like what this menace is that's trying to attack the Alpha, right?
Yep.
And then save the future of the universe. The effects in this movie, the storyline, I enjoyed this entire movie, but I remember the whole time being distracted by how much the two actors didn't feel like they cared, they wanted
It's
to be there.
almost impossible to think of an actor in the correct age bracket who would have been worse than Dane DeHaan.
Agreed.
But I just didn't care. I mean,
Yeah.
would it have gone from a 4 to a 4.5 for me if there'd been a better actor? Maybe. It needed
4.5. I mean, that's, well, no.
I'm
see,
at a 4. I'm at
Oh,
a 4.
you were
with this
already a
movie. I'm
4,
saying,
okay.
Would it have gone up to a 4.5?
I think you would have loved, who's your favorite actor of all time?
Cary Grant.
What if Cary Grant had been
That
Dane
would have been
DeHaan?
so unspeakably bad that I don't even have words to
A
describe.
young
Cary.
Cary Grant.
No.
Okay.
It would have had to be like a beefy, like Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
No, I think Channing Tatum. It needs to be like a beefy hot guy,
Or like,
but like
yeah.
a goofy beefy hottie.
Goofy,
hot guy.
beefy hottie.
Okay, and how many goofy beefy hotties are there?
I know a few.
All right,
Because that's what Luc
Couple in
Besson
this
does. Is
room.
like some of his performances that in Fifth Element, like they're goofy. They're goofy, but
Yeah.
in a fun, believable. Like I don't know. It's just it was the wrong. Maybe it's
It was
casting.
bad
but it was
casting.
just
Interesting.
bad
You
acting.
chose it
Of
too.
course,
I didn't
yeah,
know you
this one
remember
stuck with
that.
me because I'm really bothered by it.
Yeah.
Really bothered by it.
You know, it crossed my mind, but again, I don't think the movie's ruined. I think it's partial. It's very slightly lessened.
And all we're left with, Tim, is your number one. Then?
So my number one is a film in which somehow the entire cast endeavors to be the reason that the movie is ruined. This is a gorgeous, magnificent example of MGM filmmaking in the 1930s at the height of its like, let's just spend shit tons of money making this thing look lavish and good. 1936 adaptation of Romeo and Juliet, which is the other reason I started chuckling, because when I said Romeo and Juliet with Gangs of New York, I basically had given away half of my list. So
You were the only one chuckling.
I know, that's what
Yeah,
I said. It's
yeah.
an in-joke with no one but me. 1936 MGM production, directed by George Cukor. Lavish, wonderful, at that point the most faithful adaptation of Shakespeare that had ever been filmed. Didn't make a lot of money because it cost so much money to make, so they kind of killed off Shakespeare adaptations for several years. Really just amazing production
What
overall.
cost so much?
Just sets and
Oh, okay.
costumes and like big everything. MGM spent money. They spent
Yeah.
money where they could. This movie cost like $2 million.
Really?
$2 whole million.
Back then, though.
This
That's
was
a
when
lot.
this was when $2 million was like a lot of money.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is a little bit of casting, but they're not helping with their performance.
Cary Grant?
No. The problem is that this film stars a certain 43-year-old Leslie Howard as Romeo.
Nice.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a wonderful actor.
Oh, it's a man.
He's a wonderful actor. Leslie Howard is Romeo, 43 years old. Norma Shearer, Mrs. MGM, the wife of Irving Thalberg, 34 years old, playing the dewy-eyed ingenue Juliet. And coming in at no less than 54 years old comes the great John Barrymore as that sprightly young rapscallion Mercutio. That's pretty much enough to do it. Like, you have the three oldest people in the world playing the teenagers in Shakespeare's play about teen love. Also, as a special little bonus, you have Andy Devine playing the weirdly expanded role of, like, all the servants get combined into one character, basically, named Peter. And
She had a problem because they were old.
It's a big problem. It's Romeo and Juliet. It is a film about teen love. And Leslie Howard especially looks 43. He looks like a 43 that wasn't taking care of himself.
Do they call it Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, it's Romeo and Juliet,
Okay.
1936.
I'm looking it up right now.
Leslie Howard, 2 years later, played Professor Henry Higgins, the crusty old asshole in Pygmalion, and he's great as the crusty old asshole in Pygmalion. As the, like, dashing young Romeo, he's fucking horrible. And John Barrymore is fucking horrible. And Andy Devine, who has that really unique, distinctive, squeaky voice, cannot deliver Shakespeare. And Norma Shearer is kind of better at, like, playing the role than Leslie Howard is, but she's too old. And it's just humiliating to watch. And it should be so good. It's like the most ambitious Shakespeare film until the 60s. And it's, like, awful.
So had it been Leo and Claire Danes, you would have been
They
like,
were
oh, this
not
is such a
But
much
favorite,
better.
what's your favorite?
Yeah,
Romeo
what's
and
your favorite
Juliet?
Romeo?
The 68.
Okay.
With Olivia Hussey.
Nice.
Franco Zeffirelli. But yeah, it's like, you're watching all this amazing Shakespearean stuff happening on these gorgeous sets with great costumes. George Cukor is a terrific director, so the pacing is bright and snappy. And the characters just suck. They suck so bad because they're old and tired. And other than Norma Shearer, none of the leads clearly want to be there. So they're sort of not giving any attempt to play their lines. So it's just sort of really saggy and awful. And it's just distressing.
Perfect.
You gonna catch that one, Rob?
I have no interest.
I know.
None of these, like, actually, some of these movies I'd rewatch that we've
I'm trying to think of what Tim said that I have interest in seeing that I haven't
We
seen.
should have interest in seeing none of them because they're all ruined
By the bad acting. But sometimes you can sell me on that. I don't know. We'll see. Did I sell you on It Could Happen to You?
Well, it's got Nick Cage, who's great.
Exactly.
So it sounds like it's
See?
a movie saved
See?
by great acting.
You're going to head home and see it now.
Well, every week we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental based on the results. Here are your top 5 picks. Tied for number 5, we actually have Godzilla and Gangs of New York, the two Gs.
I'm honestly shocked the Gangs only ended up at number 5.
At number 4, we have a movie that our poster was inspired by, which nobody brought up, but Godfather Part 3. I have not seen it, so I can't say that. Was it ruined?
It wasn't ruined. I think Sofia Coppola gets way too much shit for it. Is she good? Hell no.
I've heard Pacino's a little off.
Pacino's a little off in it. That's the thing. No one's on in it. The movie feels very, like, tenured.
Also, tied for number 3, we have The Wicker Man, the modern Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man was misbegotten a long time before they cast Nick Cage.
It was a Nick Cage movie, Care.
Oh, yeah?
I
saw that one out there, but I haven't seen it.
It is an atrocity, and it is not an atrocity solely.
I'm looking
the
forward to
acting
it.
is very bad.
I like honey, so I want some of the bees. There's some bees in it, I think.
Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey.
There you go. And number 2, we have Star Wars 3, Revenge of the Sith. Care, so the little validation there.
Yeah.
And number 1, Bram Stoker's
Stoker's Dracula.
Damn it, the penis jokes continue. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Our lucky winner this week, Chad, who picked Shadows by John Cassavetes.
Ooh, hot take.
Yeah, that's what he has there. Chad,
All
shoot us an
right.
email at contact@alternately.com for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon rental, like Chad, be on the lookout for a spoiler alert or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Go out to our social media, check out our Facebook page and like it. Check us out on Twitter where we're tweeting all the time. Go to alternately.com where you'll find all of our movie reviews, podcasts, blogs, and more. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. And don't forget about our Patreon. And thanks to our Patreon listener, Andrew Milne. We'll be watching all of the Raid movies as part of our spoiler alert segment. But because we want to squeeze in Solo, next weekend, and because it's Memorial Day, we're delaying our release until Tuesday, not Monday. So you have to wait that extra day to catch us then. So we'll see you then. Make sure to catch up on all your rated movies.